Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show. Home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros.
Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show Action Edition, where we feature feedback from you, our listeners. I'm here with my old buddy Larry. And Larry, what's been going on?
Well, John, I have been busy in the handyman business, but actually this week I was doing a little work at the house. And so, like you know, every once in a while we take and do a little work around, a little of the old handyman work around the house. And I was kind of laughing because I was outside, doing some stuff in the yard, and actually I was working on the deck. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. I was marveling at. I hear across the way one of my neighbors, and I hear this whack, 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 and I had to laugh. I'm like, my neighbor's name is Roger, and Roger, every week, Roger comes out and he cleans his rugs by beating them. And so this is not feedback. This is more a story from my neighbor of him beating his rugs. And I thought, maybe we should do a quick little thing on cleaning your rugs, thanks to Roger for him being out there beating his rugs.
Yeah.
Personally, I think he needs to not beat his rugs every week and do something more productive. Anyway, be that as it may. So I had asked you. I said, have you ever, how do you clean your rugs? And what was your answer?
Well, Little House on the Prairie type of thing.
Well, you said you send them out, but
the old lady out there with the long dress on and the hard shoes, in the field.
Come, Inga, it's time to clean the rugs.
Over a rope line, smacking it,
Well, you laugh.
Mom, going into town.
You laugh, but that's actually what Roger does, and that's also what I do. So
get on the horse and go into town and get some seed and feed. So I hear what you're saying about that. That's in a traditional way of cleaning rugs.
Well, yeah, and so I was going to do that, and then I was telling you also I own a lot of oriental rugs, so I thought I'd give the two tips on cleaning rugs, and they're really, really simple. One is you can take and if you go to an antique store, sometimes I used to see them up north all the time, but you'll actually see actual rug beaters, right? And they look, I don't know what they look like, kind of a cross between a fly swatter and a tennis racket, right? Yeah. They're these long things, and they've got this big head on them that is, and it's got a handle on it like a tennis racket handle almost. It's not quite like that, but anyway. And they were literally designed. You put the rug, you hang the rug up outside, and you smack it with this thing, and it actually will knock the dirt out of your rug. And we actually do that. We don't do it as much. Roger, literally, this guy's like he's got a fetish or something with cleaning his rugs because it's every weekend he's out beating his rugs, and he doesn't have that many. There's no way he could have that.
Probably
many
deep seated there. You don't want to get into it.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't asked, and I don't plan on it. So anyway, but we take ours out about once a year. I take them out, maybe more. It just depends if it's dirty, right? I take it outside. I hang it up actually over my deck railing. And I take I use a tennis racket because I don't have a rug beater. If I find one, I might buy it, but I doubt it. I just take a tennis racket, or I take any kind of, I'll take a wide piece of wood, just a piece of plank or something that I've just got sitting around, and you literally just smack it. Now it's not wind up and hit it like a baseball, but you just tap on it, you whack on it, and it's amazing how much dirt comes out of your rugs when you do that. Right? It really is amazing. Do it in a non-windy day, or be downwind or be upwind of it when you do it, because the dust sometimes, depending, again, it's how often you clean it. Roger, I never see any dust coming off his. Of course, he beats him every single week. When you do it once a year, it's amazing how much dirt comes out of it. So that's the first step: is just take it out and literally hang it up and beat it. I know we laugh, it's Little House on the Prairie, but that's how it used to be done, and it still works today, and it works really, really well. Amazing how much you can just knock out of a rug. The second tip I wanted to give was just on, so I have orientals. My mother was a collector of rugs, and so we have some oriental rugs that I pretty much think they were made around 1880, 1890 is when they were made. I know they predate World War II by a considerable amount. And it's a long story, but you can tell by how they're knotted and things like that. But these are really super nice rugs, and they have particularly the dyes and the inks in these rugs are somewhat susceptible to modern chemicals. You would not want to use any kind of chemicals on them because you would take the color right out of the These are wool rugs; they're made out of wool, and so what my mom used to teach me, we used to do this. We actually would do this again. We would do it once every couple of years or so. It all depends on how much you walk on your rugs, right? Obviously, the rugs you use a lot, you don't. But let's just say if a dog urinated on the rugs, they do, right? That's what animals do. You take the rug and you put it on a flat surface, preferably a semi-clean flat surface. So I do it on my deck because my deck's cleaner than the driveway, although I've done it on the driveway in the past. You lay it out, you take your hose, and you just hose them down. First off, you get it good and wet. You get it really, wet. And these particular rugs are relatively porous, as most rugs are. There's usually a pretty good amount of space between the fibers, and so the water kind of flows through it. And you go get a bar of ivory soap. Get the real ivory soap. The ivory soap, it floats soap, and it's going to cost you about $1, if that even. And use ivory soap because it's a very gentle detergent, and it won't strip colors out, and it doesn't do anything like that. And you literally get on the rug on your hands and knees, and you just clean it with the ivory soap. You just go back and forth and suds it up a little bit. Get it good and sudsy. Clean the whole rug on like a 5x8 rug. You're pretty much going to use a whole bar of ivory soap. Take your hose, rinse it out. Just rinse it out. You'll watch all that soap and dirt and gunk go bleeding out, into your driveway or through your deck, wherever you happen to do it. Rinse it off, get it really rinsed off really well, and then just hang it up and let it dry. And again, I throw mine out over the deck rail and in the sunshine, and it dries out. When it's dry, put it back down. Amazing how clean they get, how much more vibrant the colors get, and things like that. And of course, any smell is gone. It smells, it smells like ivory soap when you get done with it. So.
Yeah, that's a great tip, Larry.
Yeah, so we thought
when you're saying that, I never even I never knew that. So that's I learned something.
Yeah, and that would work. Well, and there you go. And that would work with modern fabrics too. But you don't have to, you don't have to hire a machine. You don't have to do anything like that. You can go out and do this stuff. Yeah, it's going to take you a little bit of time, but whatever. I mean, it's totally up to you. It's all about choices, right, John?
That's right. That's right. Larry, what you should do is you should rig something up where you don't have to be on your hands and knees to rub that soap, like a big stick with something on like a bar of soap on the bottom.
Well, anyway. I suppose you probably could. I never really thought about it that way. I like to use my hands because I can actually feel the fibers, but again, I'm dealing with I'm going to call them their antique rugs. They're really...
Yeah, no, that was a good tip because you're right. If you have those old rugs and things, then you have to be careful of what kind of dyes that they use in there. And if you send them off or you try to clean them yourself, there's a lot of chemicals these days that probably would attack that.
Yeah. Things like anything from any kind of anything on it. If you spray even vinegar on it, you'll cause issues on a truly hand knotted woolen rug. Maybe not so much on a current modern nylon rug or something like that, but for some of the older stuff, you just want to be really careful. So anyway, all right. Well, don't forget to join our Facebook group at Handyman Pros. Join the conversation. Send us an email, questions at Handyman Pros Radio Show, or go to our homepage and at handymanprosradioshow.com and leave us a voice message. We would love to put your feedback into the show, and we will see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this podcast and have derived some value from it, here's 4 things you can do. 1, tell your friends about this podcast. 2, hit subscribe on your podcast player. While you're there, leave us a review. 3, subscribe to our newsletter by going to handymanprosradioshow.com and click on the subscribe button. We'll inform you of upcoming events, shows, and give you actionable tips for maintaining your home and property. And 4, send us an email with your questions to questions@handymanprosradioshow.com. That's handymanprosradioshow.com. That's our show for this week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.